objective for today is, first of all, I have to condense the topic quite a little bit, because this is normally a workshop which runs at least for 2 hours in the awareness version. So I'm going to give you a drink from the fire hose, okay, if that's all right. There's a lot of areas where you can go into any of these areas and find exponential growth, right? A very current pressing topic right now is the migration crisis, which probably is somewhere here on the left-hand side. And it has a certain dynamic. And you can see that people are struggling with the dynamic of such a complex crisis by the time they give new forecasts about how many people are coming or how many support they have to give. So one day it's, let's say, they say 50,000, the next day it's 500,000, so it's like really up in the air. And that's because it's a systemic problem which is really hard to understand. What is the order of magnitude that I need to plan for? Now, likewise, if I'm a marketing manager and I'm planning for an exponential growth campaign, some of you were nodding, you're in marketing, right? It makes a difference if I'm planning for 1,000 customers or 100,000 customers, because downstream, my colleague has to plan for product shipment, for packages, for service employees who are supporting the customers. Okay. But then there is a little pitfall here, because this saturation or the turning point comes very quickly. And if it goes down like this, all hell breaks loose. Now the problem is also for corporates, where you're coming from, right? If you don't have a product in place at this point in time, you're in big trouble. So innovation and timing of innovation is key. And to understand the dynamics of growth is really absolute key. Now what happened when I looked at the results was, the gray is the estimates that people gave. Most people actually think that growth is happening much quicker, but then in the long run there's not so much growth potential. Okay? So that explains also the hockey stick. Because if in contrast, what really happens in this case is something like this, right? So it takes a long period of time and then it flattens out. Okay? The whole conclusion here is about systemic leadership. So when I saw the results, and after reflecting what I learned from working with startups, I realized that we'll be better off by adopting some systemic tools and skills. Okay, so that's why we're here today. So I give you a first glimpse of what that looks like. Okay, and the way we're going to do that, I call it unpeeling the onion. We're going to take a look at this system and see what is driving the growth. Okay, it's probably the most interesting point on this curve here is this point here. So that's the inflection point. That's pretty much when your sales volume is reaching a high. Okay, you have to understand that point. When is it going to occur? And after 1 year, instead of having about 8 million, we suddenly have 20 million customers. That makes a big difference, right? Of course, it also makes a big difference here, because look at how quickly the saturation is coming. So there are two implications. Growth is going to be much sooner, so you're going to make a lot more money, a lot more action, or whatever your goal is, but also the pool of potential customers is drying out much more quickly, which means that if you have to come forward with an innovation, so the new curve is looking something like this, right? Okay. But you have made already a big step forward. Most of you actually get into this mindset now, how it's coming about, and you see how you have to differentiate between the customer base and the sales that leads to the customer base. Okay. Now, this was a simplified exercise, but was it challenging? Obviously, right? Because it's difficult to find out how the system, even if it's a simple system, behaves, right? And now you see, I'll probably have a better understanding, if you like it or not, why the policymakers or politicians right now are struggling with allocating resources. It follows the same dynamic. You have a pool of people in one country and they're migrating to another country. The more they are in the to-be country, the more will come from the other country, because nobody wants to be left behind, And those who are in the new country have contacts which are their family, and they move the people in the country, right? It's not a statement about right or wrong or humanitarian, it's a statement about allocating the right resources, like trains, tents, people who welcome them, etc. who take care of the children. Now that's the beauty of the software as a service business, if you're not losing the customers, if you do the retention right. Now, the old world of software was that you put software together in a package on the shelf, people buy it, you have a one-time purchase. Now, if people were happy, they would go to the shop again and buy it. Right? In the new world of software as a service, you have to have much more attention to keeping customers in this bucket. The importance to understand the timing and the resource allocation. Okay, so when you think about your systemic growth hacking tactics, you now have to figure out when to shift gears, for example, when to move from direct selling. The direct selling is basically getting you here, the party started. You need to direct sell into the clients, right? But then you need to shift to referral marketing. So incenting people, share this with your neighbor and your friends, you get a promotion, whatever. Right? Let's take Volkswagen as an example. Okay, Volkswagen has a product quality issue. Think about you have a product quality issue with your business, could be a startup. And you see that in your peer company, they have a quality issue. Then what is happening during that time, if you have this quality issue here, we go back to this curve, you're making, of course, a downward trend and maybe a sidestep until you can grow again in some period of time. And this time period is, of course, which you have available to take market share from your competitors. Now, knowing what you know now, you're in a better position to figure out where to start and what to do, okay, and where to look for. So it's more about competitiveness. Okay, so that was only a short appetizer between us and the beer. I hope you liked it, and I want to thank you for your time here and wish you good luck in shaping growth. Okay?